It's recording.
Yay!
Or it says it is anyway. We'll go with that.
Yeah, as long as it's recording the sound is the main thing.
Yeah.
It records a bunch of us. Just us. People had to learn how to lip read. And
Okay, so this is a show we're doing.
brand new show.
Or we're attempting to do a show. It's going great so far, obviously.
Quarantine is amazing.
Right? I did 2 things today that I have not done in over a month. And that is, I put makeup on for this, and I went and got gas.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
did not go get gas, but I did put a little bit of makeup on so I didn't look so totally
Blah.
Mm-hmm.
I looked blah. Also, my face was super red, and so I figured if I put some makeup on, it would make me look marginally better.
I know.
Oh, what is my hair?
Quarantine chic right now. Didn't blow dry my hair, so it looks like this.
I didn't blow dry my hair because I don't ever.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Okay.
I did make my whipped coffee today.
Oh, is
I'm
it
drinking.
good?
Yes.
That was
Also, it didn't. Yeah, I know, right? Well, you wouldn't like it anyway because you don't like coffee, but it probably should have used a hand mixer first of all, instead of my hand and a whisk. And you're supposed to use granulated sugar, but I use stevia. So, but it's fine. It's good.
Oh, that's good.
Not worth the effort, but
Well, I guess if anybody's watching, welcome to our new maybe series of videos we're going to do.
Get excited.
I think we're going to call Our McWorld.
Yeah. It's a great title.
We did have a blog a long time ago called Our McWorld. We had a lot of things a long time ago. We had a podcast one time.
Yes, we did.
Which is where we're getting some of our ideas for this.
Yeah. So if you were an avid listener, all you 2 people out there of 2 Peaches in a podcast, some of this you will have heard before, but it will be updated and new and in vlog format.
Yeah, because our last one was in 2016, so it's been 4 years since our podcast, and yeah. So since that fizzled out, and since we're stuck in quarantine and we're kind of bored, we decided that would be the perfect time to start that YouTube channel or whatever that we've been planning for ever.
Right. Yeah. Also, this is a freer way, we think, to do that. Eventually, it will be a money-making way because we'll be the new Smoog or whatever. What are their names? Smush? Smog? I don't watch YouTube. We're going to be the new it thing on YouTube.
Just wait.
I am not hip with the youth of America.
Oh, Lord. I'm not
Apparently, this is like TikTok coffee. They make it on TikTok, I've heard.
I downloaded TikTok.
Why?
Because everybody else did, and I wanted to know what it was about.
Well, if everybody else jumped off a bridge, would you do it too?
Depends.
Of course, I guess everybody was doing this, and I did it too, but I didn't know everybody was doing it.
Yeah, I really wanted to know. I kind of knew what TikTok was, but not really. So I signed up and I watched a few things. I have only been on it one time. I haven't been back on it since the day I downloaded it, but I saw a really cool video where I think it's a thing, but a girl was standing there and behind this guy, and then she or she was on his back or something, or she jumped up on his back, and then he stood up higher, taller, and she jumped up higher until eventually she jumped up on his shoulders and he was standing straight up, and then she
What?
backflipped off of him. Anyway,
Oh, dang.
let's do that. That'll be entertaining
No.
till we die.
Yeah, that will probably happen if we try to do that. No, but you know what we are great at?
Ogre water. Fancy. Just one up me on the water. It's fine.
Hey, sorry. You know me. I gotta drink a lot of water. You know what we are great at, though? Making lists.
Oh, yeah. Super good at making lists. And that's where we're going to start today on our first vlog ever. Well, not really ever. This type of vlog.
Yeah. General format, non-travel specific vlog.
Yeah. Our McTravel's totally different thing.
Yes.
That'll be another channel maybe eventually.
Yeah. For now, it may just be a segment on this channel.
Yeah.
Or you can read our blog, ourmctravels.com.
Plug.
The Mick is because Mallory and Courtney,
Mm-hmm.
not because we're obsessed with McDonald's or anything.
Mm-mm. Not just trying to be cool. Well, we are trying to be cool, but
Yeah. We don't have to try. We just are.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's do the list.
Okay.
Today's list is top 10 TV shows. Which really is our top 10 favorite TV shows each, plus honorable mentions.
Yes.
I guess we could save, do you want to save the honorable mentions until we get like right before number 1? Or do we want to do all the honorable mentions first that didn't make the list?
Well, I guess we could do the honorable mentions now to build suspense for the top 10.
What else is coming? Some
What
of
is?
them might be in your top 10.
Probably. Should we just run through the honorable mentions?
Yeah, just like, this is what they are, not.
Yeah. Not why.
Yeah.
I guess we could come back to them then after we do the list, or we could just, I don't know.
It's tricky.
This is the entertaining part where we figure out how we actually do a show. Behind the scenes, in front of the camera, because we're not good at that.
The podcast is easier. You can just cut that part out.
Yeah.
I guess you can just cut this part out. It might be trickier. I don't know. This is also our first time doing a Zoom recording because we're obviously not in the same place.
Yeah. Because social distancing and quarantine protocol.
Yep.
Okay. So I think we just go through the honorable mentions and then we do the top 10, or should we do the let's do the top 10 and then we'll do the honorable mentions.
Okay.
We
can honorably mention shows that haven't previously been mentioned at all. So like if I have shows that I would have said honorably to, I can bring that up during the list.
Yeah, okay.
So at the end we'll just be like, these are shows we didn't talk about at all.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, my number 10 is Fastlane. I'm going to be honest, it almost didn't make the list.
That's kind of surprising, but I also kicked some off of my list that I had made 4 years ago, so.
Yeah. Oh, what about our 4 years ago list? Should we have started with that? No, I feel like that's no good because a lot of mine are still the same.
Yeah, some of mine are still like a lot of the top 10 are the same. They're just in different places, some of them.
Okay.
They got new.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's complicated.
So I will tell you that this changed. In 2016, I had this at number 4
Yeah.
because this was my favorite show for so long. But I don't know. It's kind of one of those absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder deals.
Mhm.
And I haven't watched it in so long that I just wonder. And really, I know we kind of talked about this earlier before the show, but I think this time, because I think about my favorite shows are like shows I like to watch over and over and over again.
Mhm.
But there are some shows I watch all the time that I wouldn't say are my favorites. They're probably honorable mentions, but so then I thought, well, maybe it's shows that actually bring me joy when I watch them still, or that made me really happy like when I did watch them.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I made my list, so to speak.
Yeah. I kind of did mine that way, and I thought, what were, because it's hard once you're removed from a show for a while to appreciate it as much as shows you watch now.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to think, what was it like then? What shows were, could I not miss when they were new? And that sort of things. How I tried to do it, even though it was a little bit tricky because I'm like, but there's all these new shows that I really, really like.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, these are not reality shows, in case anybody's wondering. It's a different one.
Yeah, just scripted shows.
Yes. Okay.
All right, my number 10 is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nice.
It was not on my list last time I made it, actually, but it's one of the shows. It still comes on. It's got one more season, but it's one I think I've grown to like even more over the years, and it's one I don't want to miss. I always have to watch it the night that it comes on, even if, because it usually comes on Friday. So even if I watch it later Friday night, I still always watch it usually the same night it comes on. And of course, Fitz is just the best, and that's all there is to it.
Fitzsimmons. Yeah, I would consider Shield kind of an honorable mention for me because I do like it, but I don't like it quite as much as you do.
Yeah. Also, this season, Sosa. Honorable mention to Agent Carter, which did not make the list, but I also love that show, and I love Sousa, and he's going to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season.
Yay!
I'm excited. But yeah, very girl power. Girl power. I wish I could fight like May, but
Me too.
alas, I cannot.
I know. Can't fight like anything.
Yeah.
Us-
Still a little bit annoyed that none of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ever got to be in the MCU. I mean, I guess there's still a chance, but probably not. The MCU tends to ignore all the TV shows.
Yeah, they do. But then the TV shows don't ignore the MCU, so
Although they did kind of ignore the snap on Shield, but they kind of had to because they didn't know what was going to happen and had to keep doing their own thing. So,
oh snap.
oh snap! Number 9.
Number 9 for me is Game of Thrones.
That's on my list too, but it's higher.
I figured it would be. I was gonna put it higher. This was kind of one of those where, even though I didn't dislike the last season as much as everybody else did, there were still some enough demerits to me that I can't put it up higher on the list because it's kind of like and I'm gonna throw this out there because I doubt it's in your top 10, but this was kind of an honorable mention for me, Veronica Mars.
Mhm.
But like Veronica Mars to me now, also spoiler alert for anything TV related, okay? But the last season of Veronica Mars just made me so mad, and not nearly like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones wasn't, I was okay with it. I wasn't thrilled with it, but I was okay. I'm fine with it the last season. But like, there's no way Veronica Mars will ever make a list for me, whereas it might have before. But now I'm so mad at the creators of the show. Same with like Grey's Anatomy, that it'll never be my favorite show anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess there was just enough bad stuff to knock it down to 9, but obviously it's still a fantastic show because it's in the top 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have put it at number 5, so it
Ooh.
was made a bigger impact on me, I suppose. Which I did, same thing as the end was kind of disappointing, even though, yeah. And also,
Yeah.
I kind of called it, even though I kind of jokingly called it that she was going to burn them all, but
Yeah.
but oh well. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it was because it's probably the most well made show, and they had just so much stuff, and not, I don't know, it's much better quality than every other show I've ever watched, probably. And I guess, obviously it was on HBO and all that. But yeah, loved it. Brienne of Tarth forever.
Yes.
For you, Jamie Lannister.
Yeah. Screw you, Jamie. And that is why it's number 9, because just kidding. No, but like too, I know that eventually I will rewatch it and I will be excited. I mean, I did rewatch the whole thing before this season started too. Well, really before we went to trivia one week, but and it's still a really good show, and it's one that you can rewatch, I feel like. So that, that's why it's on my top 10.
I think it was one too that even though we didn't watch, the final season was the only one we actually watched on TV because we kind of had to get caught up. It was one where, I mean, we had dinner parties and stuff, but it was one I was super excited to watch.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to know what happens. But.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Okay, next up, number 9 on my list is Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
Yes, I am. But this was one of my favorite shows. It's actually the only like show from my childhood that's on the list this time. I had 2 other ones actually on here last time, but I think the reason this one kind of came up above those is because I actually rewatched it last year. I rewatched a lot of the episodes, and I guess it kind of reminded me of why I really liked it, because I always liked scary things, and I always wanted to watch scary movies and stuff when I was younger, especially. So watching it kind of reminded me, oh, how much I really love that one. So it got bumped up this time. Last time I had Barney and all that on there from back in the day, and Power Rangers, because I also really liked all of those. And when I was younger, those were my shows I watched. But the more like I haven't really watched Power Rangers recently, but I've seen some all that recently, and I still like it, but I think I like Are You Afraid of the Dark better. And that's why I kind of bumped it up into that spot instead of those other 3, even though Power Rangers was definitely a close to the top 10 because it was my jam back then.
Yeah. Where was Are You Afraid of the Dark last time on your list?
Oh, it was not on there last time.
Oh, okay.
So but I added, it was honorably mentioned last time we did the list. But this time I decided to put it on in place of the others.
Cool.
Which again, it may be because like I said, I haven't watched Power Rangers recently. And I know I used to really like it, but it's hard to know how much I liked it compared to to this one and all the other Nickelodeon shows I used to watch. The big Nickelodeon kid.
Yeah. I was more of a Disney kid. But my number 8 is Power Rangers. So
Power Rangers.
also Power Rangers was number 9 last time, but kind of right there. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I watched it. I love Power Rangers. That was the first time I ever shipped a couple was Kimberly and Jason. I wanted Kimberly and Jason to be together. And then stupid Tommy had to come along and ruin everything. And then also Tommy ended up being awesome, but that's not the point. The point is, hey, you sunk my ship at first. But I was the Pink Ranger for Halloween. I had the props. I still have Power Rangers clothing. Like, I literally wore a Power Ranger shirt to walk today. I mean, when we went to see the new Power Rangers movie that was based on the OG characters, we all wore Power Ranger shirts to the movies. And this wasn't that long ago, if you're keeping score at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I loved the movie, the first movie where they jumped out of the plane and it was so cool. And then, they got all those little spirit animals that were also their regular new animals. Anyway, I just loved the Power Rangers. So that was my 8.
Mm-hmm. My 8 is the same as last time, and it's the Vampire Diaries.
Nice.
Even though that's one of those shows that towards the end I didn't like it as good anymore. I didn't really care as much anymore. But in the first several seasons, it was one of those where I had to watch it, and it's one of those I obsessed over and thought about all the time. And of course, I love Damon. I have a life-size cardboard cutout of Damon. So, but it was. I read some of the books. I didn't read all the books, but I did read some of the books. But I didn't read them until after I watched the show, some of the show. The books are nothing like the show. They're a lot more out there craziness than the show. But anyway, yeah, it was one of my big ones, even though now it's not like I would say,
Mm-hmm.
that I'd really love to. I did actually start rewatching it not that long ago, but I didn't get that far.
Yeah.
But
But, I mean, we found out they were doing that mall tour that time, and we went to that and stood in line with screaming fans and went to the con.
yep, just to meet them. Yeah, we got to meet pretty much everybody who was on the cast at that time. Because that was that season 1 still, I guess, probably?
Oh, yeah.
Mall tour. And then, we went to that con several years later and actually we got to get photo ops and stuff with them. But we got all their autographs.
Yeah.
I have that.
We didn't cry or anything like the girls ahead of us in line to meet Ian Somerhalder, but,
Yeah. Not a big crier when I meet people. I'm more of a just stay silent and don't say a word.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for another day.
Where are we? 7?
Yes.
My number 7 is Saved by the Bell, and it fell from number 3. Mostly just because, again, like, no particular reason other than, I mean, I did love Saved by the Bell, but I just feel like I love these other shows, and these other shows have more staying power, I think, because, well, you'll kind of find out why later, but I mean, I did definitely love Saved by the Bell. That was my main show growing up, and I'll probably watch the new one, but I'm very skeptical of the reboot.
Yeah.
I'm always skeptical of reboots, by the way. So this one I'm very skeptical, but I'll probably watch it. I have higher hopes for it than the Beverly Hills, whatever they did.
Yeah. I don't know how that went, but yeah, Saved by the Bell was an honorable mention for me because I did watch it a lot back in the day, and of course, I wanted to phone like Zach Morris. We actually had some. They were like walkie-talkies that looked like that phone, that big phone that he carried around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in love with Zach Morris.
I was more of a Slater person, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I have watched Saved by the Bell in recent years, and Zach was real big a-hole a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Damon wasn't, and a lot of other characters that I like aren't. So you know, I have a thing. 7, right? 7. My 7 is Once Upon a Time. It fell from number 3. It was number 3 last time. And we were still going with it last time too. But it was one that towards the end, the final season, I mean, of course, you know, Emma left and the Charmings left, and it just wasn't really the same. Obviously, it was like a whole new thing. But I guess I was just at that point kind of, I wish this would just go ahead and wrap up and everything, you know, everything. But I did really like it when it was on, and it was one I always wanted to watch that day. And I liked all the characters. Captain Hook. I'm just gonna mention all of the hot dudes from every show that we talk about.
We're gonna run out of time.
Love Captain Hook.
Yes.
But yeah, that was also a good girl power show.
Yeah.
Although more with magic than fighting, like the Shield ladies. But I like the fairy tales. Of course, I always like Disney movies and fairy tales growing up, so it was cool to see that all brought to life.
Yeah. And we went to a Once Upon a Time convention and to where they film it, which is where they also film the Power Rangers movie, by the way. But
yeah, that was a trip for. Yeah, everything went wrong. I mean, everything worked out, but also everything went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Once Upon a Time's an honorable mention for me. It was number 8 last time for me, but it kind of fell off.
Yeah.
My number 6 is New Girl.
New Girl's on my list as well.
I figured it was. It was number 6 last time for me too.
Yeah, it was my number 7 last time, but I actually bumped it up to number 2. Because it's the show I have probably watched the most times. And every time I rewatch it, it's still funny. And it's like of course, it's my favorite comedy. Well, spoiler alert, number 1's not a comedy.
What?
But it's my favorite comedy, and I can watch it over and over, and all the characters are hilarious, and I just love it.
Yep. Same. Pretty much sums it up.
Nick Miller. Yeah. Push if I want to push.
Yeah. I say that a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I pick up a lot of things from shows like that. And
yeah.
Sometimes people get it, and sometimes they just look at me like I'm a crazy person.
That probably happens more often than it should to us in general. So.
Yeah.
Who you got for 6?
My number 6 is actually a new addition, and it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's my number 2.
Weird.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one that I just finished rewatching it, the whole entire series again, and it's one too that you can watch it a bunch of times and it's still funny.
Yeah, like for me, I'm with you. Like it's a new addition for me too, but first of all, it really just hearing the theme song, I just get happy instantly, just instant mood booster. And so I could really honestly see it possibly being number 1 on my list. I don't know. That's pretty tricky, but it has such a great cast, and I feel like it's such a good show for teaching lessons, but also for it doesn't preach to you about things.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. Like the whole show's just really well done to me.
Oh yeah, and it's super funny.
Yes, that too. That helps. Okay. Number 5,
5.
The Office
The
for
Office
me.
is not on my list.
Okay. Well, I do love The Office. I do watch it over and over again. It remains funny, and of course now that I work in an office, it's even funnier because you just think, well, this is real. I mean, to a certain extent, very real.
Yeah,
So,
this
but
is.
it's good. Good cast.
Yeah, I do really like The Office. My favorite part are Jim's pranks on Dwight.
Yes, for sure. Jim, when he's sending Dwight messages from himself from the future, that's my favorite of all time.
Yeah, that one was good all the time.
Yeah,
Uh, I think it was a pilot I watched the other day where he had put his stapler in the Jello. He was like, "Let me
classic.
look, it was me," and he was sitting there eating eating Jello.
Yep, classic.
Get him, Jim.
Yeah.
My number 5 was Game of Thrones, so we already talked about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, my number 4 is The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead is my number 3. It got
Ooh.
demoted from number 2 last time.
Office actually got downgraded from 2. Walking Dead actually got upgraded from 5, which is kind of weird because I don't know, it's kind of a weird situation because I don't like it as good now as I used to. But I do still really like it. I do still watch it live. I mean, you and I watch that show live every Sunday, pretty much. I still put my Daryl stuff on. So it's still, and I know that I'm gonna rewatch it probably pretty soon. And I've started reading the comics and stuff. And, the cast is so great. We've met pretty much all of the cast of The Walking Dead at this point, and the show is good. It's hard to keep a show like that new and fresh and good a long time, but it's still a good show.
Yeah, and I feel like they have done a good job recently of with the Whisperers. It's making it a little bit different, but still having something going on. I know they often have episodes that are kind of a little more boring, or maybe not necessarily, but I mean, you can't have action all the time on any show.
Right.
But it did get into a slump. I know a lot of people stopped watching it, but it's like I'm hanging in there because I want to see it through to the end because I've been watching it so long, and it's another one of those like I don't want to miss it. I want to watch it the day it comes on, but I guess I've been watching it so long, like so far they haven't done anything to make me mad enough to quit watching it. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like if Daryl and Carol are gone, I won't have as much like because now Michonne's gone. I mean, Maggie's coming back, I guess, but at this point, so many of the main characters have gone, and I mean, we've got new ones over the years, but it's just wouldn't. I mean, especially without Daryl, there really wouldn't be a Walking Dead to me.
I agree.
Maybe I'm sure the writers probably know that too, and that's why Daryl's gonna make it forever until at least till the end, I bet. But
Well, and
they'd wrap it up.
yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
but I kind of want it to be over.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I love Daryl, obviously. I have a life-size cutout of Daryl in my room, but I'm with you. Like, I feel like I said, it's hard to keep it new and fresh, so I just don't want them to run it into the ground
Yeah.
before they end it, and I don't think they are. I think it's still a good show. I mean, it's hard to stay a great show for a long time, and the fact that it's still a good show this many years in really speaks to how good of a show it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, still. All right, to you.
My 4,
Correct.
right, is One Tree Hill. And this one I kind of, I don't know, I struggled with moving it down. It was before it was also number 4. And I almost moved it down, but then I didn't know, I couldn't figure out where it belonged. So it just stayed where it was. Because it was one of my favorite shows at the time that it was on. And I really, really liked it. And I was really invested in it in the years, especially, I mean, the last few seasons I did also enjoy, even though it kind of took me a minute to get on board with how different it was. But I feel like throughout, though, I still really liked it. And I think I don't think they really like ran it into the ground. I think they did a good job maybe of finally, I don't remember if they got canceled or if they just decided to end. I don't really remember what happened, but I feel like it still ended being pretty good. But, that was one, yeah, I struggled with it because I hadn't seen it in so long.
Yeah.
Back then, I know it was one of my favorites, so that's why I got to stick around at number 4.
Cool. Okay, my number 3, and warning alert, earmuff alert if you have kids, even though it's not technically a bad word. If you probably can guess what's coming. It's shit Creek. Ew, David. So I found this show on Netflix randomly, just started watching it, and it is such a great show, and I just love it, and I love the characters, and you get so attached to these people, even though they seem like the very type of people you would hate.
Mm-hmm.
But the show was just such a good show. They did a great, the writing, every episode was good.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to be happy when you watch it.
Yeah. That was one of my honorable mentions. But it was a really great show. And it did make me tear up at the end. That was a show that had a really good run and it had a really good ending, which cannot be said for a lot of shows. And yeah.
Yeah. So it was, found it on Netflix, watched the first 2 seasons. I didn't even know it came on here. So then I was behind and season 3 was already going and we went to Canada and I binge watched season 3 while we were in Canada because that's the only place I could watch it. Then I got on from there and watched the rest of them here because I found out it was on Pop TV. And at that time, that was the TV guide channel for me. So it was like this big and TV shows scrolling along, and it was grainy. So the sacrifices I made for this show. But I have rewatched it probably 2 or 3 times at this point, and there's a lot of good one-liners from it. Obviously we say "You, David" a lot.
To David's, we know.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, if anybody wants me to do something, I'm like, "You fold it in.
Yeah.
You fold in the cheese." So it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We already did that was 2, right?
That was 3.
What was my number 3? Oh, The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah. Well,
The Walking Dead.
we already did both of our number 2s.
Yes.
Mine was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, mine was New Girl, which I think I said, yeah, New Girl got bumped up from number 7 last time for me because it became, I've gotten more into, over the years, more into comedies than I used to be. I used to be all about the teen dramas, and now like I've tried to watch shows like Riverdale and Nancy Drew and some of those CW shows, and I just I don't know, I just can't get into it. I don't know if it's because I'm older or because I'm just tired of those kind of shows because I watched them for so long. But I don't watch any shows anymore.
No, it's because we're old.
Yeah.
And because the world is a mess, and we don't need to rule it, but we do need it to be better than it is in some way. So, okay, so my number one is a comedy, and it's the same one from last time. It's Parks and Rec. I've rewatched Parks and Rec. I can't tell. I've probably seen every episode 5 or 6 times. We won Parks and Rec trivia. We also lost Parks and Rec trivia, but the first time that we won a big prize, and it was amazing, and we killed it.
Yeah. No thanks to me, but we did win.
Yeah, well, some thanks to you, but hey, it's just such a great show, and it's, again, the characters are funny and somewhat relatable. Having worked in Parks and Rec, you see all kinds of people come in with all sorts of nonsense problems that they should not be having.
Mm-hmm.
But
Ron Swanson.
Yes, and most importantly, Ron Swanson. There you go.
Swanson jokes.
Yes, for sure.
I make them all. I did a trivia for Jeopardy at work once a game, and we play for us to play at one of our meetings or something. And one of my categories was "as said by Ron Swanson," and you had to complete the Ron Swanson quote.
Yes.
Okay, well,
what was that?
Ding! That was a text message that came through on my computer.
Oh.
Weird. Anyway, my number one, if you know me at all, you paid attention to my life. If you listen to the podcast, you will know is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is my favorite show of all time and probably always will be. Even though I haven't watched it in a long time and I really should rewatch it from the beginning. I thought about it. That's what I should do while I'm still quarantined. But yeah, it's just always held a special place. I started watching it in season 2 when it was in season 2. The first episode I ever saw was the Halloween episode where everybody turned into their costumes. And I thought it was really cool, and so I started watching it every week, and of course I got invested, and then I started recording it on tapes because we didn't have DVR or anything like that. So I had to put the tape in, and yeah, okay, somebody might have recorded Family Feud over an episode of Buffy entitled Potential. I'll never forget it.
Who did that? What a terrible person.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, it'll hold a special place. Spike is my man, always and forever. So, yep, that's my show. More girl power.
Plus the first taste of Joss Whedon that then inspired us to watch everything Joss Whedon ever did. Yeah. And without Buffy, we would never have gone to DragonCon, possibly.
Yeah. Thanks to my obsession with James Marsters, we found out about DragonCon. And because he was there, and we went to meet him, and we were like, what is this madness? And then we went back every year since.
And we will have Tales from DragonCon on future podcasts.
Yeah.
What is podcasts? What the heck? This is a vlog.
Whatever.
See, we have no idea. We have no idea what's going on.
It's probably not even recording.
Right.
We've just been talking to ourselves for 45 minutes.
What else is new? Okay, so here I'm just going to run through some honorable mentions, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I thought we would get cut off. I thought we only had like 40 minutes.
I don't know. I don't even know how it's been going.
Okay, so I'm going to mention these two first because these are shows that I watch all the time, but I don't consider them my favorites. They're just on a lot.
Mm.
and I do really like them, and that is Seinfeld and The Big Bang Theory. And I'll throw Modern Family and Last Man Standing in there too, which are two wildly different shows, by the way.
Yes.
Um, and that's kind of my life. That a story of my life right there.
Well rounded.
Yes. Yes. Um, do you have anything to say about any of those?
The only one I really watched was Big Bang Theory. I do want to watch Modern Family, but I never started watching it, and then I felt like I needed to. I just wanted to go back and start at the beginning, but so far I have not been able to do that because it's not on any streaming service.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is really good. I mean, all of them are good, and all of them I've watched a lot. But like I can pretty much almost quote Seinfeld to you, but I don't consider them like my favorites, and I wouldn't. If it was like, do you want to watch one of the ones on the top 10 or this, I'd pick the others. Like if it came down between Brooklyn Nine-Nine and one of them, for instance.
Yeah.
So, then I want to mention a couple, some childhood shows that I remember really loving them, but because I don't know for sure, I couldn't include them. Barney, same way, Barney was a classic. Boy Meets World was a great show, of course.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, love that. Also, they just redid that show. I think it's on Apple TV, but
I heard
God,
about doing that.
why they have so many freaking streaming services?
They want all the money.
They do.
I feel like nobody's watching TV anymore, so.
Right? I know. And then I guess the other one would be, of course, In a Heartbeat. Maybe I'm the only person on earth that watched that show, but I did.
No,
I had to meet Shawn Ashmore because I was in love with him.
I watched that. It came on in the mornings, I think.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Alexa's being a creep, so.
Your robots.
Right now.
Your robot servants are out of control. So then I'll mention a couple of shows that were on. These two were on my list last time, but got cut this time, and that's White Collar and Numbers. And I really loved both of those shows. I actually never finished watching White Collar.
Oh.
So probably want to watch that from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Numbers was just a great show that I loved when it was on too. Then a couple more comedies. And I had a tough time. I almost put this one in the top 10 because I do rewatch it a lot, is the IT Crowd.
Yeah.
And then recently I've gotten to where I really like Superstore, which I just recently started watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then a couple of kind of geeked out shows. Of course, I love Doctor Who. Who doesn't?
Oh, yeah.
Some seasons are better than others, obviously. Some doctors are better than others.
Yeah.
But it's just not one of my favorite shows, but it's one of my favorite geeky type shows for sure.
Yeah. 10 will always be the best.
Definitely.
I don't know. I like 13. I do like 13.
Yeah.
She's been refreshing, but 10 will always have it.
Yeah. And then Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
One and done. But also, I really like Lost Girl and Winona Earp. Both of those have the same showrunner, but they're both really good shows, and they're kind of interesting how they, feel about things. Both are girl power, and by feel about things, like they take an interesting approach to how they deal with demons and stuff like that, and all this, how people and demons coexist in the world, and everything's just good, and it's all basically everything is good, but everything is bad, but you got to fight the bad and live with the good, and
Yeah, and I like Winona is one of my favorite female lead characters because she's so snarky and sarcastic and always funny and makes me laugh. But then, you get to see her go through real stuff too.
Right.
But I always like it when you can add a little bit of humor, even when it's like a serious thing that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And Doc Holliday, man.
What?
And Doc Holliday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, most importantly, what do those two shows have in common? Tim Rosen. Just kidding. That's not the most important thing. Because
he was kind of a tool on Lost Girl, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. We hated him, and we didn't really like him again until he was Mutt on Schitt's Creek, and then. But Doc Holliday's the best, the very best.
We're waiting for the next season. Is it the final season or just the next season that's coming out this year? Or maybe
the next.
Who knows?
Fight for Winona.
Yeah. Winona.
Yeah. And then the last two shows I'll mention, one of these is a newer, actually both of them I guess are newer. This Is Us. That's definitely my favorite drama of now. Tears at my heartstrings. I'm in love with Jack Pearson. It's just a great show.
It is a great show. And sometimes I go back and forth about how I feel about the characters, because most of the time I'm like, stop doing this. And then sometimes you're like, okay, well, and characters like Randall, who I've pretty consistently liked recently, I'm like, what the hell, Randall? So you go through various things with these characters. You're like, I really love everybody, but also sometimes I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the last honorable mention that I have, I think, is Stranger Things. And Stranger Things just keeps getting better and better, in my opinion. I mean, season 2 was better than season 1, and season 3 was better than season 2. So,
yeah,
let's do this thing.
It is getting better. It's that one's a really fun one to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, the first season was not as funny as seasons 2 and 3 have been, and I love that. Like, Steve Harrington.
Yeah, their little crew, that was the best part of the season.
Yeah, the Scoops Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it, Susie. So, I'm excited for that one to come back again.
Yeah. Looking at mine, you named most of my honorable mentions, I think, except for, I don't think you mentioned Lost.
No.
I really love Lost. I've watched the whole series of Lost like 3 times. I actually watched the first time I watched it, I watched the entire thing in 2 weeks. It was right after I think it was like right after we graduated college, maybe.
Yeah.
And I had nothing to do. And so I literally they had every episode on ABC's website. And so I sat there and watched every single episode, like back to back to back to back for 2 weeks straight. And I watched the series finale on TV. I got finished about like 10 minutes before the series finale started on TV. That was the bingiest binge watching I've ever done in my life. And that wasn't even during quarantine. So don't test my skills right now. But that one that was one that I really liked. And Sabrina the Teenage Witch, that was one of my TGIF shows with Boy Meets World that I watched every week. And of course, I love Sabrina and I always wish that I was a witch too. But yeah. No powers over here.
Yeah.
And Greek, which wasn't a super popular show, but it came on ABC Family, now Freeform, but back when it was ABC Family, about like fraternities and sororities, and it was just really great, and Cappy was the best. And I mentioned all that earlier. That was one of my Nick shows I liked. And Reba, which was originally on the top 10. It was on the top 10 last time. But this time it got off and was just got kicked off to be an honorable mention because I have rewatched it recently, and I do really still like it, but it just didn't feel like, I guess, it belonged in the top 10 anymore because I like other stuff better, I guess. And I think, oh, I Love Lucy. That was my only other one, I think. Yeah, I Love Lucy. I used to watch Nick at Night back in the day. Like, this was probably back in the 90s when they had, during the summertime, they'd have marathons where they'd play one old show every night of the week. And so I would watch, like, I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched and I Love Lucy and all those kind of shows. But I always loved I Love Lucy. I always thought it was so funny. And now I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I like to rewatch a lot of those shows. The other day watching RuPaul, when they were, who was it that was doing the I Dream of Jeannie?
Jackie Cox.
Yeah. And said something about it, and I was like, oh, you know, I ain't seen I Dream of Jeannie in a minute. I want to watch that. Where can I watch I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah.
But I think
we met I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, we did. We met there was the three main people, right?
I know we met Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman. Who else was there? I didn't really watch I Dream of Jeannie that much. So.
I can't remember. Anyway, we did at least meet them, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Definitely.
But I think that's all mine that I had honorably. I mean, there's lots more shows that I like that, you know, I've liked over the years that I didn't put on here, but.
Yeah, I know last time I have Warehouse 13 on there. I really need to go back and watch that show because I feel like I would really enjoy watching it again. And it's a really light show too.
Yeah. There's probably really a lot of these. I feel like I need to go back. Maybe that's what, like, I should make one of my goals while I'm, you know, if I'm bored, is to start watching some of these old shows and just see if I enjoy them as much as I think I remember that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you rewatch something and you're like,
yeah,
this was great when I was, you know.
I need to watch Buffy all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen like 3 complete seasons, and it's not seasons 1, 2, and 3. It's like seasons 1, 2, and 6 or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, cool.
All right.
That was fun. Maybe, hopefully, successful.
I don't know how long we've been talking. It doesn't have a time, does it?
Not that I've seen.
Who knows? This might be the longest vlog in the history of time.
Probably. We may have to tighten it up somehow next time.
Yeah. Stop talking so much.
Yeah. And also, we need a thesaurus, as per always. Whenever we do a show, we realize how much we need a thesaurus because we're always like, this is a great show. This is a good show. Everything is awesome.
Yeah, everything's awesome, and that's all we know about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Alexa, she's listening anyway.
Creep. All right, so I guess we'll just head out. We'll be blessing hearts, taking names. I'm about to go make me a quarantini, to quote you.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yep. I am. Don't know what I'm going to do. What time is it? Probably look for dinner sometime soon.
Yeah, that too.
All right, well, hopefully this worked, and maybe we'll be back soon for another video.
See you in the next vlog.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I stop recording? Oh, here.